Yeah. All right. I don't even remember how I used to do this. Pang, pang, pang 2021. Let's go. This feels really weird. Oh, I can probably put a bit of light on it. It's a bit dark. Nice. Let's get a bit of colour sorted out. Power did go pang. Pang means smash, you know, out here. Pang. I didn't even realise when I was going pang, pang, pang. Didn't realise that it wasn't smash, smash, smash. Today's been awful. I'm a creature of habit. I'm a creature of being around things I recognise, and it's been awful. Sleeping, nightmares. Haven't done any work. Big problem. A little bit of colour in the old shiakas. Yeah, no tea. I've got a kettle in that there. I'll be on to the old. I wonder what they've got for me in the old. I wonder when the room service stops. Hello, mate. Yeah, I need a little bit of room service. When does it finish? Hot chocolate. Bottle of wine. Right. I wonder when that finishes. Hopefully it'll be all night, because I can't get through a night on a packet of salted cashews. All right there. So this is weird. I've had an awful day. I woke up, everything was groovy. Oh, there's no power. All my phones run out. All my computer batteries run out. Oh, my spare computer batteries has run out. I'm on my built-in microphone. So if you wondering why it sounds like I'm talking to you on a cup and a bit of string, Robert Rankin says, I heard Biden was dead. I thought he was dead sometime last year. Very good, Mr. Powell. Very good. Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. Hello, Chief Moody. Hello, Plastic African. I mean, in fairness, I'm all right with the hotel. I'm not really. It's quite a laugh, in it, and they've got a bath here, so I will be doing a couple of hours in the bath. Quite interesting. You mentioned the old curtains. Sorry to ruin the illusion. That's a balcony. That's an actual balcony that looks over the city, and I'm on like the 10th floor. It's quite the view. So let's go back to. Oh, it took me ages to get that looking awful, like the 1970s. What's happening here? Right, so there you go. No, don't. I'll show you. People say give you two. I'll show you. I can't because I've got the computer plugged in, but I can show you. Look over here. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Got a nice little sort of. There's the bath. The bath, you go through that sort of bit there, through there. It's around there, and there's a toilet that way. Nice, suitably nice bed. Quite a nice thing on the wall there. More windows, and then here we are. And I live on this road. I live on this very street. Oh, now I've ruined the illusion. Hang on. There you go. Get out. There you go. I live on this very street. I had to get on my. Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it, young Jessica? I mean, maybe I'll have to make a phone call. The seat is. I might have to put my. I'm in my undercrackers, so I'm going to put my hoodie on my seat to stop my thighs sticking to it. So look, I haven't watched any news today. No, it's not the whole country, and it's only my house. Usually when there's a Let me just sort out Twitch. I've only got one monitor as well, so usually when there's a power cut, I can see all up my alleys and all around my drum. They're all everyone's lights are out, but doesn't seem to be the case. It's would appear to be just my block. There's no one live above me, no one live below me, but I used a few of my skills and let myself in both of those properties, and it's just my block. And I talked to the landlord, and I'm like, have you paid the bill? Because this looks like we've been cut off, mate. And he was like, no, no. And they're usually all right. Although, you know, people who let out properties to foreigners in this country having hard times at the moment because obviously with the border restrictions, there's not a lot of people staying out here. So let's hope they pay the bill. Fucking better do by tomorrow. Miss Glass, it does feel. You know what? I actually like hotels. Between you and me, I sometimes spend the night in a hotel anyway. I don't know why. You know, nice to be able to go and use a swimming pool in the morning, have a bath. You know, and this is like a 4-star hotel, and it's only costing me a bullseye. Why not have a nice bit of a little bit of elegance and class? I work hard. No Toblerone, no Lindita. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, if I ever had an hotel, that minibar would be full of chocolate. But I reckon I can get on the old room service and go, oi mate, get yourself down to that mini mart. things they don't expect tourists to know. Mate, there's a 24-hour at the end of Street 242, yeah? Go in there and get the link without hazelnuts. Yeah, nice one. Bring it up in a minute. So there you go. Actually, that's quite interesting. Xenophon has just nailed it. Xenophon says, quality hotels are great. Feels anonymous but homely. Yeah, there's a bit of both there going on. John Miles says, can you vape there? In truth, in Cambodia, you can do whatever you want really in Cambodia. No one really cares, as long as you're respectful. There's a big sign here that says no smoking, which is handy. Oh, hang on. It would appear. Should be all right. I don't think anyone's going to complain of their room being smelling of mint and lemon. So there you go. Yeah, it's all right. But I've prepared nothing. I haven't watched any news. In many ways, I'm here. So that was such a classic in the 80s. Do you remember that? Everyone remembers that story. Yeah, he spent the night with her. Yeah, and they had sex, right? And then when he woke up in the morning, she was gone. But on the mirror in lipstick, it said, "Welcome to the world of age." Yeah, and everyone was like, "Whoa." I've never had that. I must admit, I've never had the. No, I like them. The restaurants on this, there's a free breakfast thrown in. Yeah, you wait to see how much I eat. Ah, the old freebie, eh? I'll have a pile of fruit about that big, papaya, pineapple, you know, mango, all the works. Then I'll have like a bit of like the full English, which they'll have here because they always do. Follow that with a bit of marmalade on toast and a couple of cups of tea. Nice, absolutely lovely. However, I apologise. I've watched nothing. I haven't had any internet. I went to a cafe to get some food and plugged my phone in for 20 minutes. Mine should be all right. But I don't think there'll be anything here to, you know, fuck it, man. It'll be fine. Well, yeah, that would possibly set it off if I didn't have any juice in my vape. So look, in truth, people, this is just me checking in, saying hello. I'll get the grift on, but you know, and we'll do an hour if you're up for it. But I haven't. This is the bit you don't see with the old streaming, unless I've been watching the news or catching up on what's going on, I haven't really got a lot to comment on. Oh, you bastards. I've got to get a number on my phone, which is plugged in on the other side of the room. No looking at my pants. Now I've got to try and remember this number. It's terribly lit, isn't it? It looks awful. I read some of the comments that were left on the story, Sunday story. Moslab said I should maybe do one every week, but I've told about 200 hours of stories, and you know, they're going to get a bit repetitive. I went to score, and it was a bit difficult, and that's it. But you know, maybe we can do something. I've certainly got plans for this year, and how lovely to have 220 people in here. Nice one, Tricky Who. Nice one, a Tricky Who. Casa Calling said, Chris, do you ever go? Well, I suppose we're just going to do a question and answer session, aren't we? Do you ever go to Sihanoukville, you mean? After King Sihanouk. I'm too big for this fucking desk, I'll tell you that. I used to go there. I used to go on holiday there before I moved to Cambodia, but it's over. Sihanoukville's been invaded by a large communist power, not America. And it's just a filthy mess. It's gone from paradise to there's like about 50 casinos there. It's awful. Yes, that does happen as well, Marzipan. I mean, but you know that you know, I can't even think of the Antox is lurking. It's a what's the word? Professional hazard. Yeah, I can tell you what, me too, Jeff, especially in the real world. Zen Maverick said, are there any 1 hour hotels here? Yeah, there's loads. There's up in the red light area. It's surrounded in them. You can just turn up there going, oh, hello, I'm coming to stay in Cambodia on holiday with my wife. Her name, what's your name, dear? Hwate. Me and Hwate. But I only need an hour of rest. You got a room and a condom machine? Yeah, they're shocking. They're like, you can get one for like $5, predictably $5. Yeah, $5, and you go in there and you regret the decisions you've made in life when it's just they're not pleasant. I've used them before. I can't believe I'm even going to bother to try and tell you it's for something else, but I've used them for other things. And as a measure of how bad your life has got, the interior of those places, the stench and the filth is quite something. You know, they're not the nicest places. Right. Well, this is a bit of a gamble. Hi, you can support this channel using the super chat and the entropy. There you go. The entropy link's in the chat if you want it later. Yeah, well, this Alistair says you make a great point, because if there's like 8 people using them in a day, do you think they're cleaning the sheets in between? Of course they're not. They're not going to pay all that money. They'll just make the bed. Hey, very unpleasant places. Now I have actually got something to talk about that you might find reasonably interesting. I'm really gutted though, because we've been having really good numbers lately. Look, there's 270 people watching. There's a few over on Twitch, and I think they've probably popped in because of the quality of the recent streams. And here I am with nothing prepared. So apologies, people, and apologies there wasn't a stream this morning either. But if you've just joined, there's a power cut where I live, so I haven't caught up with any news. I haven't been able to do any research. There's not much happening here, but I have got something I want to tell you, which will involve looking at some pictures. Yeah, I'm steady. What, some images, you mean? Let me just get these images up, and then I'll tell you what I want to say. Does anyone remember? That's very kind of you, Mr. Red Eye Rebel. I am ad-libbing. Good Lord, I always ad-lib, but I can't ad-lib about the political situation, which is really what's relevant at the moment. Well, Smith, if that's why they have white sheets, in theory they should have a slightly kind of silvery tonic. Ouch. Hello, Henry Hill. So give me a 1 in the chat if you remember on British television. So sorry, Americans, on British television about 30-40 years ago. Well, it wouldn't have been 40, it'd been about 30-35 years ago. There was this autistic black kid. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm reading a few articles that old Jeffrey Sharla sent me about the myth of psychiatry and the lie of mental illness. And do you remember the documentary about the autistic black kid who could draw from memory? They flew him over like Westminster Abbey, and then he went back home and he was like, and it was like, you know, in terms of detail, in terms of Moslab done the same thing. Moslab said, was that Don Lemon? And someone else said David Lammy. Come on, people, help us out. Sally remembers, right? Well, there you go, Mar. This is my point. Thank you, Marzipan. This geezer, I've got to keep it down a bit actually. This geezer has been given an MBE, right? For what? Right, I looked at some of his pictures because in this program, of course, they were going, although his name's Stephen Wiltshire, although Stephen is autistic, his genius ability. Now, what he has got that most people haven't got is an incredible memory for images, right? But the thing is, and this is my issue with the old autistics and their so-called special brains. The hardest thing in life, the most complicated, the thing that requires the most processing power is interacting with other humans, is our social world. This, you know, this is the non-scientific, very draining kind of, you know, the sort of philosophy of everyday life. That uses up so much of our time. And if you think of your life, if you think of all the real complexities, they've been about other people. It's been relationships with girls, or if you're a girl or bloke or whatever, you know, relationships with your parents, relationships with schools, just the everyday, negotiating the everyday ritual of your sort of ontological experience. This is a drain on the mind. These are the things that make you cry. These are the things that make you laugh. And it takes a hell of a lot to cry. And it takes a hell of a lot to make you laugh. This stuff happens on a really profound and deep level, right? Now, if you've supposedly got this disease, autism, aka selfish and lonely, you don't have to process any of that stuff. You don't do it. You choose not to, or whatever. I'm not really getting into that side of things. But you just bullshit people. They ask you a question and, how are you today? Yeah, I'm good. And so I'm not surprised in the slightest that once you've shifted that incredibly abstract, necessarily critical, again, ontological kind of processing, once you've said, I'm not involving myself in all that, I'm not surprised that you can do what other people would consider amazing feats of memory or amazing feats of mathematics. I'm not surprised, because you know, if you're not having to use your brain for what it's for, you can, and it's only being used for a specific function, I'd expect that to be superb. I'd absolutely expect that to be amazing. And all of the maths geniuses that I've looked at, all of the autistic maths geniuses, none of them are. None of them can create anything. None of them have been, what do you call it? None of them have been, they can't synthesize new ideas. You know, to move thoughts forwards, you have to hypothesize, you have to have a thesis, and then you have to synthesize a new idea. That's how ideas move forward. That's kind of dialectics to an extent. Resolve a contradiction and move forward. And all the maths autistic kids, none of them have done it. They're very good. They're very good. And I'm not taking anything away from it. This isn't just me being shitty about 13-year-old kids who don't want to say hello to me. But it's the way society treats them. And it's the way they get branded genius. And that genius label is actually part of the whole psychiatric thing. It upholds the same bullshit values that psychiatry does. Because if Stephen Wiltshire's drawings are terrible, they wouldn't pass an A level. I've done A level art. I know the quality of line and the quality of observation and the quality of draftsmanship required to get a decent, you know, they might get a D or an E at A level at best, but they're all smudgy. They look, at best, they look like the talented drawings of a 13-year-old. And this geezer's 43. And they laud him as a genius. And like I say, he got an MBE. He got an MBE. The geezer's been given an MBE because he can remember what buildings look like. Is that really what's happened to our culture? Member of the British Empire for remembering buildings. Have a look at this. We'll have a look at some of his drawings, right? And you'll see what I'm saying. But by the way, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by their vastness. The geezer's got nothing else going on in his life. He hasn't got to pay bills. He hasn't got to work for a living. He hasn't got a wife. He hasn't got kids. He hasn't got a girlfriend. He hasn't got a sex life. He hasn't got depressions. He hasn't got excitements. He hasn't got stresses. He hasn't got the things that take up your life. So picture your life in your head. Picture how vast your life is, all the things you have to do on a daily basis to maintain your existence. And then think about this kid who just gets government money put in, and I'm not judging that, but government money put into his bank, roof over his head, meals put in front of him, and so all he does all day is sit down. So don't be impressed by the vastness. You'd expect that off of someone who doesn't do anything else. But anyone who knows anything, these are bad illustrations. There's nothing artistic about them. And even on the documentary I watched about him, when they interviewed artists were struggling to praise him. You know, they were being very, you know, people would sort of say, well, you certainly can't argue his ability to remember. I was thinking, yeah, you've just said nice memory. And so they ended up having to talk to architects rather than artists. And architects were like, wow, that's it's incredible. Look, he's got the heights of the buildings right. 43-year-old bloke got the heights of the buildings right. Anyway, look, here we go. Have a look. Have a look at some of this. Member of the British Empire. Nice memory you got, mate. Sweet. Here we go. Right, let me just make sure we can see these. Don't forget, I've only got one monitor, so don't Don't judge me for the speed. Right, can you see that Tower Bridge? Can you see? I can't make any bigger. It's a shocking drawing. The understanding of light and shade is spasticated. Look at the sky. It's got literally got Simpsons clouds in it, and it's just messy and muddy and ugly and awful. And if you look at the buildings in the middle of the bridge, so you've got the bridge, the bit the cars go over, and the bit at the top. They look like they're closer to the foreground than the actual bridge. Suddenly it looks like an optical illusion, and you're like, hang on, what's happening? Is it a film screen? That doesn't pass. That's an E at A level. It's just messy. It's messy and ugly. You know, let's have a look at this one. I'm just looking at these randomly. Look, it's fucking shit. It's fucking awful. That's an awful picture. Now, prepare yourself, because not only have the psychiatrists bought this nonsense, but so have the people. This geezer's pictures sell for like 500,000. That's dreadful. That is dreadful. It looks like everything looks like it's made out of paper. Do you know why? Because it is. Because all he's done is put lines on that paper. I mean, what the fuck's going on here? Now, look, I'm not taking anything away from this bloke who likes drawing, but this isn't the work of a genius. This is the work of a spastic. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. It's just obsessed with line. I mean, you know, it's flat. Yeah. This geezer's been given an MBE for this work, and I found out this. There you go. Tony Sanchez, professional illustrator, says this. Just check the drawings out, and you're right, Chris. They're amateurish in terms of no sense of depth, and the line work, yeah, and no sense of light and shade. Now, admittedly, he's using sometimes pen and ink, sometimes pencil, but he smudges all that pencil everywhere, and it's I thought you'd like that, Dennis. Well, which it is, you know. I'm not. That's not. I'm not being nasty to him. It's and the thing is, this whole idea that that's a genius. That's a genius. I mean, is this what we've become? Is this where we are now? These are the effects of this whole psychiatric illusion that we've been sold has got us to. When a 43-year-old does drawings like those, which are the doodles of a child, he's a member of the British Empire and he's called a genius. And all the maths geniuses I looked at, they're not maths geniuses. Most of them flunk out when they get to master's degree level, and fair enough. Oh, look, he got his A level when he was 15. So what? And I just wonder what this fixation is with these kids who haven't got anything wrong with them. Autism's a lie. It's just a lie. They're just not the same as most children. But do you know what? Most children aren't the same as most children. The people on the right have joked about weaponized autism for the last few years, and what a weird irony that it turns out the real weaponization is by the psychiatric world, calling these kids autistic, separating them off. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just, you know, humans aren't self-identical anyway. Everyone's changing. It's absurd. And then to layer this genius thing on top of them. Good Lord. What an insult. And you know it's an insult to the kid involved. And it's also an insult to people who've actually spent their lives trying to create artistic beauty and things like that, who don't get any recognition because they're not mentally ill. You know, this is the idea that young autistic kids, the savant, the whole concept of the savant and the sort of autistic genius or whatever comes from exactly the same world that as your mental illnesses in your Twitter bio. That's the same world. You know, people wearing this stuff like a badge. It's all this is all connected. It's an absolute shame. Well, no, there you go, Tony. They're classic example. Someone like Hogarth, incredible. I'll do exactly that. But you're going to be hard pressed to find a documentary on the BBC about Hogarth. I've just realised there is something we can talk about because I saw it this morning. I've got a funny feeling. A funny feeling. I was thinking you meant Hogarth from Gin Lane, but this is a different geezer. What's the Hogarth I'm thinking? There is something I need to talk about. An actual donation. Are you shitting me? Good Lord. The hotel donation. Pete, it does. I'm using it in the intentionally ironic 1980s schoolyard meaning. It wasn't meant to be a medical diagnosis. Nice one, Little Red. Best to Jacob, Chris, and Scrubs. Jacob? Who's Jacob? I have no idea who Jacob is. What's Jacob done? Jacob, come out here. Nice one, Little Red. Rusky Tube said this. Do you remember when Stephen Fry? Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Rusky. Do you remember when Stephen Fry did a program about manic depression, which was pretty much selling manic depression as something special people are gifted with? It was exactly that. It was disgusting. You know, we as a culture, we've absolutely glamorized mental illness. You know, this idea that like Vincent van Gogh, you know, the geezer was a fantastic painter. You know, the geezer responded to changes in technology, the printing press and photography, and was beautiful images he produced of the world we lived in, and in such a way that we were forced to question how we understand our world, and just remarkable. But any time you see a documentary about Van Gogh, there's like 10-15 minutes on the paintings, and the rest of it is he was mental, you know. He ended up in a mental asylum, you know. He cut his ear off. He was fucking crazy. This mad genius, you know. Oh, look at his work. He was a mad genius. You know, awful, absolutely awful. Just not right. Not how a healthy society should be. I'm with you on that. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe I've missed something. You know, Jacob. Thank you, Mr. Crowley. Very kind. Oh, it would appear I've missed a couple of entropies as well. And I know I've been promising I can put them on the screen. Oh, I can put them on the screen. But because I haven't got two monitors, it's a bit... Oh, that's very kind of you people giving donations. I'm kind of ad-libbing this one a bit. I'm not settled. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Nice one. White Swan dropped a Lady Godiva into entropy and said, towards the hotel bill. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. You're not joking. IP Freely said, I've just opened a bottle of claret in celebration. Two chicks hatched, and a white Sussex on the way. Any scrubs interested? Videos over on my channel. Enjoy your hotel, Chris. Have a good one. Hang on a minute. You should have put a link to your channel in the donation because you can't put them in the chat. Donate. Give me another donation for like £1 or something, and then I can copy and paste the link to your channel and put it in the chat. But nice one, IP Freely. And how exciting to have had 2 chicks hatch. What's a white Sussex? Is it a type of chicken or something? Buster Brooks said, trying entropy. You can talk about Parler. See my latest Parler Up if you want a subject. I've already watched your video Parler Up, and I will talk about it now. Hack61 dropped a cockle, and he said, here you go, Chris, a cockle because I'm special. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very, very kind to see people using entropy. That keeps YouTube out of. I mean, it's not going to damage their funds, I'm sure, but it's, I don't think we should be giving people money to these people. Thank you, Chloe, much appreciated. There you go. And Bunny Shonis, this is what I was saying the other day. Once you've got ADHD, it's 5% of the population, and then 3% of the population have got autism, and then 4% of the population have got Asperger's. Let's keep going down this road because in 10 years there'll be a new one. Those people who can't, these people and they're very shy, or these people are very extrovert. Well, they've got extrovert intuition syndrome, and in 100 years we're all mental. We've all been sectioned off. We're all treated differently. We all get put in different places. We're all given medication. Yeah, and we're all mental. That's what this is all about. The problem with psychiatry is that when one person has more power, i.e. when the psychiatrist has more power than the person they're diagnosing, that has got the potential to be weaponized. And that's really dangerous. Really dangerous. And that's what's happening. I will be getting Jeffrey Sharler back on here. I told you yesterday he's very ill at the moment. I'm in a hotel, Miss Feel the Bass. I'm in a hotel. There you go. And then, of course, Ms. Glass, more control. More control. Yes, Dennis. It's a really dangerous thing. I got into Jeffrey Sharler because of his work on addiction, but I'm finding out that this whole nice one, Wing Commander. Yeah, exactly. All sectioned off. This whole psychiatry thing I'm digging into because Charlotte's sending me links to things to read about it. I'll put some of them up on my Telegram. This is really dangerous. This is a whole sort of snidey back door that no one's looking at. Meanwhile, people in the West are having their lives ruined through this absolute charade called psychiatry. There is actually something to talk about. There is actually something to talk about. They're coming for Telegram. There is a. So I haven't got the details on me. I would have usually looked into this further, but someone is suing Apple and I think Google for not taking Telegram out of the App Store. It's really dodge. Let me see if I can find an article. Telegram being sued. Yeah, I looked at this briefly this morning. Here we go. We'll have a look on this page. I mean, I predicted this. This is always going to keep happening. Right, Buster Brook Talk has made a video, so go and check it out. But Buster Brook Talk has Parler apparently has now got a placeholder. When you before when you went to Parler, it was gone, but apparently now there's a placeholder, and they reckon they're coming back. It's always a little bit, in what state are they going to come back? What are they going to offer? What sacrifices are they going to have to make? Because Apple and Google said to Minds, yeah, they're going for Minds of all places. Apple and Parler said to Minds, get rid of your search function and get rid of your comments, and then you can come back on the App Store. You know, completely screw your social media, and you can come back. Well, it wasn't like that this morning, so that's interesting. Maybe they're having all sorts of dramas. But Buster Brooks Talks made an interesting video about it. But you know, they'll come for all of them, and you know, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But you know, I'm not going to repeat myself. I've said it all week about how this is a flailing overreach by a handful of billionaires choosing not only what we can say, but what we can hear, what we can read. And of course, Telegram is now under the cosh. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this page. If I can get this working, this is really tricky without. I mean, the mad thing about an individual suing Apple is just bizarre, because you know, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, there's more of the kind of violence and arranging of rallies that go on those platforms than there are on any of the ones they're banning. But of course, they've got their senators bought off. Let me just see that you can see that. Let me make it a bit bigger for you, and we will read it. Apple sued for not removing Telegram from the App Store over violent content and hate groups. I mean, this is just, you know, according to who? This is the problem. According to who? This is illegal, all of this. You shouldn't be able to do it. The problem we've got is Apple and Google own the app stores, and 97% of apps go through their app stores. And so soon you might not be able to get Telegram if you because they'll be taken off of the App Store. So Telegram can have their site, us lot can keep using it, but no one new can grow unless they can find a way of putting the app on the phone. And what if they take Telegram off of the App Store? They might even make it so that it won't work on your iPhone or your Android. It's just, you know, I predicted all this. It's all inevitable, but this isn't a black pill. This is a white pill, because there'll be very clever young people at universities and the likes at the moment working in tech thinking, nah, this isn't the future I want. What technological solutions can we create to deal with these problems? And you know, the blockchain, the public blockchain, there's technologies already in existence that will be able to outdo these fuckers, because they're all last year's technology. And on top of that, we'll find that we communicate in different ways anyway. You know, Twitter hasn't changed in a decade and a half. It's almost useless. Who cares? Who wants to read a couple of hundred characters of someone? Oh, look what he said. Oh, it's finished. Twitter's over. But this is absolutely predictable. Apple is being sued by the Coalition for a Safer Web. I wonder if there's anything specific about the people that run that organization. You make up your own mind. The lawsuit from Ambassador Mark Ginsburg and the Coalition for a Safer Web charges Apple with allowing Telegram to be available in the App Store, despite Apple's knowledge that Telegram is being used to intimidate, threaten, and coerce members of the public. I mean, that never happens on Twitter. Twitter's never intimidated anyone, surely. Twitter's never threatened people in the public, surely. Twitter's never coerced members of the public. This is bullshit. This is absolutely the same selective enforcement we've already seen with the likes of Parler and Minds and BitChute and Gab. This is bullshit. You know, most of the traffic that involves all this kind of stuff, all the stuff that they don't like, happens on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, because they're the big ones. It's just because there's so much other content on them, the so-called dodgy stuff, the so-called hateful stuff, you know, it's a bigger ocean. You know, it's more diluted, so you don't sort of recognize it so much. But something like Parler, which is largely right-wing people, well, of course you're going to see it, because it's largely all that's there. They are trying to banish any opposition to the party, to the Biden-Beijing party, from the internet. That's what these handful of tech billionaires are trying to do. And with full support of the Democratic Party. I mean, this is, they are showing us their hand. They're not hiding this. There are already laws in place to stop this stuff happening. There's already laws in place. And they're just being ignored. And they don't care that they're ignoring them. Do you know why? Because no one cares. You know, this is the brave new world. No one in Congress is doing anything about this. One woman did. One woman stood up about it. She's had her Twitter taken away. That female congresswoman, I think she's from Georgia, wasn't she? Someone will know her name. I can't remember offhand. She stood up and said this is wrong, and they took her Twitter away. So she can't tell anyone it's wrong now. Anyway, billed as a non-partisan, not-for-profit advocacy organisation to force the removal of extremist, according to whom, and terrorist, according to whom, content from social media platforms, the coalition claims Apple is failing to follow its own policies and guidelines regarding app content in relation to Telegram. In doing so, Apple allows Telegram more malicious users to continue their activities. You know, the real bullshit thing about this, and this has been going on since social media started, are these places platforms, or are they publishers? Because they're platforms, they're not held up for any of their content, because they're not publishing stuff. They're just a platform. So if someone does put something on their platform that's against the law, they don't get in trouble for it. They'll get told to remove it if it's spotted, but they don't get in trouble for it. So they get all the perks, they get all the benefits of not being a publisher. But then when people want to silence people, they're treated like publishers. You can't have that stuff on your site, take it down. Oh, all right then. I hear that DLive is finally taking all the lemons and that off people. If you're on the right now, there's no more. You can't donate on DLive apparently. I was never bought. I was never sold on DLive anyway. They never said they were for free speech. So what? No surprise there. I think you're right. I think you're right, Hal Victory. This is a flailing power grab that they know they need to do, because look, we know what's happened. There's been a fried election. Everyone's fully aware of that. No one's convinced by this. We're going to see the most popular president ever living an illusion. We're going to see the most popular president ever barely manage to get crowds. This is going to be a really weird few years where there's going to be this sort of media hyping. You know, they're going to be taking their shots from particular angles to make 30 paid audience members look like, you know, 20,000, and there'll be the technology that's going to be used to try and make this man look in any way popular is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a cartoon. It's going to be an absolute cartoon. Tony Sanchez says the Capitol Hill incursion is going to be used to shut down freedoms built into the American Constitution in much the same way the Nazis exploited the Reichstag fire to clamp down on freedom. It's exactly the same. The whole Reichstag fire thing is very, very similar to this. But the problem is, the problem I'm seeing with all this is they're being selective in what they're shutting down. They're only shutting down people that oppose them. You know, this isn't like an overall sort of silencing of the masses. It's a silencing of opposition, which makes it more like the Chinese party system. You know, America is currently, because of all of this, a one-party state. It's a communist one-party state. And using their propaganda wing, aka big tech, they are attempting to silence opposition. This is exactly what happens in China. You know, no one's getting silenced on Twitter for supporting the current regime. No, websites that do an overall better job. Like Facebook is largely supportive of the party, and so crack on, Facebook. Absolutely absurd. I mean, what a peculiar few years we're in for. You know what? I'm not even convinced we'll get a few years out of it. These people are so inept, and it is so. You know, did you all see the footage of those people coming from Guatemala? Let me know if you saw the footage of. Yeah, I'll show you it just in case no one saw it. And this is a sign of things to come. And you know, I'll tell you how I know that, because it's already happening. Here, hang on. Let's see if we can get a bit of footage of this. Here we go. Hang on. Hang on, people. I haven't got two monitors here, so this is all going to be a bit slow, but I should be able to show you a bit of footage of this. Right, hang on. So, this is a migrant caravan that has broken through the Mexican and Guatemalan border on their way for the brave new democratic America, which is going to let these people in. It's going to let them in. The amount of people who want to get to America, and I just from South America, is billions of people, billions. And the Beijing, Biden, and Harris lot have already said they're going to let them all in. So why don't you think they're going to be coming in the millions? Yeah, hang on a minute. I'll show you some of the footage to just cheer you up. They're coming because they've been invited. That's what you've got to remember. They're coming because they've been invited. And Biden has already said he's going to feed them. He's going to educate them. He's going to give them medical care. Who do you think is going to pay for all that? I wonder whether it'll be for white people or not. He says under his breath. Yeah, I'll check this out.
Hour, a migrant caravan reached the Mexico border, broke through the closed metal gates, and rushed through migration checkpoints. About 3,000 migrants are headed to the U.S. The travelers are mostly from Honduras. President Trump previously threatened to close the U.S.-Mexico border if authorities in Mexico failed to stop the impromptu caravan.
Well, unfortunately, my love, President Trump is no longer there. And there's loads more coming. There's loads more coming. I've seen loads of other footage, loads of other people. What, you don't think Venezuelans are going to start making their way to America now? What would you do? Would you stay in Venezuela where they're literally barbecuing street rats, or would you get yourself into America if the president said, "Nah, come along, we'll feed you, you can bring your family"? And don't forget, they've only got to get one of them in. And they've only got to get their citizenship, and then the whole family can come and join them legally. They can put them on an aeroplane. And they've said that they're going to feed them, they're going to educate them, they're going to give them medical insurance. I would guess, and I am picking this figure out of the air, but I want you to hold me to this number in 8 months' time. I would say there's probably about 5 million migrants currently packing their bags to go to L'America. I'd say there's about 5 million who are at home now, putting water, putting some beans and some tacos into their rucksack, and we're going there because they're going to look after us. They're going to give us work in the land of freedom. And they're going to turn up. They're going to turn up to a communist state where they're suddenly first-class citizens. The people paying the taxes to pay for all that, though, they'll be second class. You know, they'll be told to shut up. They'll be told to get off of social media. You know, this is absurd. And of course, once they've arrived, once you've brought another 5, 10, 15, 20 million over the next 4 years into your country, who do you think they're going to vote for come the next election? Who's going to remind them? Who's going to stand up and say, we siphoned money out of the pockets of hard-working Americans and put them into your bank accounts for you and your 20-strong family? Remember that at the polls, because this Nazi, this white man who's standing, he's going to try and get you to go home. You know, the very interesting turnout, which is already happening. You've already got Hispanics. You've already got Hispanics in America. People who fled communist states, terrified of what's happened to the land where they've built a family and a business. You know, I'm not taking anything away from. I've been to South America. I've travelled around there. I know the people. They're hard working on the whole. They are. You know, you might not like that, but the ones I met are hard working, and they're now seeing that the land that they dragged their newborn babies across hundreds of miles of very dangerous terrain to get to, becoming a communist state, which is what they left 20 years ago. And they're terrified. They're terrified. And of course, even though the money will be siphoned out of white America, the problem will be the people who will be hardest hit by these migrants will be the immigrants, will be black communities and migrant communities. And what do you think the turnout will be? What do you think the upshot will be when migrant communities, where are they going to go? You think they're going to go to the white communities? No, they're going to go to the Hispanic communities where people talk like them, where they can go into shops and they can buy things with people who speak like them. And those places are going to be hell on earth. That is the immediate ghettoization of places that are already ghettos. You know, they're going to just stuff another 1 million people into there. I mean, look, if anyone's watching this and sometimes thinking, I don't actually understand economics, you don't need to. At this stage, all you need to know is this. If you've got welfare, which is where you give people who haven't got any money and who can't work for whatever reasons, you give them a few quid so they can feed themselves and their families and house themselves. But if you've got open borders and welfare, you know, this is asking white America to feed the world. That's what this is. And don't think I'm being hyperbolic. They have outright said that that's what they want to do. They have outright said that Americans have had it too good and that they should be redistributing their wealth to poorer people. You know, people who didn't manage to make anything of their nations, who didn't fight and work hard like the Americans did to create one of the most amazing republics history has ever known. So, you know, because we're all equal, it's bullshit. We're not equal. People aren't born equal. Equality is a lie, which is why on the left, by the way, over the last few years, they've done another little snide and they've changed it from equality to equity. Because equality is a myth. Some people are born better looking than other people. Some people are born stronger than other people. Some people are born sicker than other people. Some people are more motivated than other people, etc., etc. And to try and iron that out with social engineering is just, you're just dreaming. And any attempts to iron that out, which has happened all over the world in the 20th century, has had the opposite effect. And it's usually cost a couple of 100 million deaths on the way. So now it's equity. And if you don't know what that is, it means giving them your money. It means giving them your money. They're going to turn up to America in the millions. I'd say you're going to look at about 5 million in the next 6 months. We'll be trying to get in there. And then you'll see Biden up there, you know, animated, full of stimulants. It's a good thing. We're going to help black businesses. We're going to help Hispanic businesses. We're going to help anyone except for the whites. And you know what? White people will still excel. because they do, because they're strong, because they know what it is to struggle. They know what it is to succeed. They know what it is to maintain the fight for what they want. They don't run across other people's nations and run from their problems. They sort it out in their own lands. This is just absurd. It's just absurd. You know, I just to watch. I'm not making light of it, and trust me, my American brothers and sisters, I'd rather you not have to go through this absolute catastrophe that you're going to go through before it sorts itself out. And I'm confident it will sort itself out. You know, there's no way America's going to put up with 4 years of this madness. Just economically, it can't take it. Economically, it can't cope. It's all very well having these stupid ideas and being a divvy Democrat, and they're mad. These people don't know what they're talking about. You know, you can say it, but maths won't lie. You know, numbers won't lie at the end of the day, and there's no way that this can actually occur. It's going to be absolute carnage. It's really weird, and from standing back, watching this from a distance, I'm just the bit I'm looking forward to is how they're going to attempt to spin all this, which is why they're closing down all the social networks. That's what that's about, because they need to maintain the narrative to stay in power. And yet, when it all starts falling apart, like it will at the end of this year, it's going to be falling apart. That's why they don't want anyone talking about it, because they want to maintain the illusion. But they won't manage to keep people silent, because, like I said, there'll be new technologies creating new solutions to these problems. And it's going to be really weird watching these people try and defend their previously tried and failed socialist bullshit. Time and time again, it's failed. And they're going to be trying to celebrate it, while on the ground, it's just going to be a catastrophe, an absolute human catastrophe. And all the time, the faith in the opposition that you can't speak of, will be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 18 months, 2 years, the majority of previous immigrants in America, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, a lot of them, will be looking for someone like Trump to get them out of this mess. And I seriously mean that. I absolutely mean that. Chrissy dropped an entropy. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Said, admire your content, Chris. Very kind of you. Well, I've kind of winged this one. I've kind of played it by ear. We've got 370 people in. Apologies to anyone who tried to watch the video this morning. I've had a power cut at my house. I'm in a hotel now. I don't usually look this lost and out of place. Lovely to have so many people. Sarah, my love, don't be scared by it, darling. That's not the one I was looking for. Yeah, no, there you go. That's a great point as well. You don't need to be scared. Life has always been a struggle for resources. It's always seeing again. But what happens is when that struggle fails, good men stand up and make it right again. And that has always happened throughout history. So calm your boots, love. You're doing a great job. People, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming along. Great numbers for a Monday afternoon. I do stream twice a day, 8 o'clock, 8:30 UK in the morning, and 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day. Today's been a little bit weird because I've got a power cut and I'm currently sitting in a hotel, but I'm going to have a bath. I'm going to stick the TV on. I'm going to lay back and relax a little bit. So it's been an absolute pleasure. We're not, oh, yes, we are going to have some outro music. Why not? Because I'll put all your messages on the screen. Look, I'm reading a few people saying they're scared. If I can just offer you some advice around that fear. This is where you have to learn acceptance. If you're scared, it's not going to change anything. It doesn't affect it. So accepting it doesn't mean that you think it's right. It just means you're like, okay, I'm not going to let it do me more damage than it needs to. You know, you can just get on with your life, and you can stay strong and motivated, because fear is the start of demoralization, and we don't want demoralization at the moment. We need to remain positive and hopeful, because then we can continue spreading our message and oppose this stuff, because we need to keep opposing this stuff, because history has shown us that the kind of ideas that are being put into America at the moment have left hundreds of thousands upon millions of bodies in their wake, and we don't want that. Just chill your boots, spend time with friends and family, talk to people you care about. Don't stick onto YouTube all day reading bad news. It will send you absolutely nuts. Superb numbers. Lovely to see you all, and I'll see you at the crack of dawn, depending on the situation with the power cut and all that sort of thing. Oh, what have I done here? Hang on, people. I can't even remember how I used to do the old screen share. Thank you, Moslab, for moderating. Thank you, Rags, if you're in there. I haven't really had a look on Twitch. There he is. Thank you, everyone who donated. Thank you, everyone who joined in the chat. Look after yourself. Keep the faith. Stay strong. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Ta-da.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's a someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man love. All the world loves the lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. Dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man love.
Nice one, people. I didn't bring any swimming trunks to the swimming pool. I don't know if I'd be able to sort it out in the big old man's bloomers. Take care, people. Don't be scared. Come on, keep the faith. Look what we've done in the past. This is ours. Ta-da.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of man love.
See you later, people. Thanks for your support. Cheered me up no end. Now go on, fuck off.